one of the organisers of the Positive Farmers Association, and they'll have a conference next month. What date precisely, Michael?
13th and 14th, release in the Radisson Blue in Cork.
Yes. Where's the Radisson Blue in Cork, can I ask you now?
It's about 3 miles from Cork City. It's actually in the little island industrial estate. It's about a mile east of the tunnel.
So it'll be a signpost that will stay from the tunnel anyway, on the day.
It will.
Now, Michael, this is your 17th conference, as you said.
Yeah.
And tell me what's happening on the day.
Well,
on the days?
On the 2 days, we'll say that, I suppose we'll say that if I run through a few of the things.
Lovely.
We have Pete Boer, the chairman of Friesland Campina, the world's largest dairy crop. He'll give a quick view on the outlook for milk. We'll say that this year and equally over the next 5 years, and should be very well informed. It's a constant theme of the Positive Farmers, sort of the grass-based dairy. We'll say that and nowadays we'll say that if you look at the last 9 years, we've had 3 dips in prices. You have to have a high grade grass diet to get down to the cost where you can make money even in years like 2015 and again 2016. So we've people like Mark Rochford, who he'll explain how he has a cost base of about 15 cents a litre up in County Laois and again in County Kildare. We have a visiting New Zealand dairy farmer, Donald and Marie Anderson, and they will again talk on much the same lines, how they built a very successful family dairy farming business in Taranaki. We're very much highlighting, Willie, despite if you like, a little bit of gloom over the industry at the moment, we're highlighting the longer term opportunities and possibilities. And in particular, we have Kevin and Margaret Toomey to talk about, and this should be of interest to any young person who's thinking of going into farming, and equally their parents, in terms of the Toomeys will have a look at what would you do, what should you be thinking, what should you be doing in terms of preparing yourself, to have a really successful and a prosperous future in farming, if you're just on the point of going into farming. So that'll be a great session. And that's followed up by a look at, we'll say, getting started. And you've Colm O'Sullivan, will say, that a person without land from Kilworth, who's just gone share milking, and he'll talk about how he got to that sort of stage. And the Andersons will draw on their New Zealand experience, whether they've both been share milkers themselves, and equally will say they have several share milkers working for them, all about share milking and joint venture type farming.
Getting new people into the business, will say.
Getting new people into the business, will say that successfully, and not just getting them in, but getting them in and having good careers. And again now we'll have we'll have some more park researchers. We'll say quite a few of them actually. And we've done looking at breeding strategies. We'll say that Donald's literally the best in the world for the future. We'll say the future trends. The place of clover, we'll say that clover down in Clonakilty, Willie, had given them a net €200 per cow, better profits, we'll say, in the last year and this year. So it's something, we'll say, that clover plus grass instead of just grass. So this is a fairly major breakthrough that all farmers should be having a look at. In terms of calves, now that people are rearing more calves, they're having a bit of bother in it. So we have 2 speakers on that, Emer Kennedy, in terms of some of the latest research in feeding calves, and Rena Sayers, who was extraordinary, will say that she can talk about a veterinary subject without using veterinary terms. So she's talking about disease of calves and young stock. And Donald Patton will send Brendan Horn are giving a paper on how to actually get more out of grass in terms of on the shoulders. So and given, if you like, just the more grass you can get into cows, the lower the cost and the higher the profit. So that's an important talk. And on the same subject with John McNamara, many people who know Johnny will say from West Cork, Tagisk, really good person on the advisory side, will say, and he's talking about the Chinook farm, will say, and which is now a highly successful demonstration farm.
In Bandon, in the old AI station in Bandon.
The old AI station, we have a further session in terms of why do I budget and plan, and in terms of and that's a farmer called Matt Venables, farming in Cheshire. And he's really talking about this. You know, you need to know your business, and you need to read budgeting and equally planning, so that when an opportunity comes up, and there'll be many opportunities in Ireland, that you can evaluate whether it's a good opportunity or a bad one. And also, we'll say that Caroline Spencer is talking about budgeting, how budgeting can help you to stay profitable and manage risk even when you're at a very low milk price. We'll have Lauren Shalou of Moore Park will give a highly original talk in terms of who's feeling the most pain at the moment, the relative costs and profitability of dairy farmers in Ireland, the UK, New Zealand, USA and Holland. And I think that will be encouraging to farmers to, that in some other countries people are feeling it a lot more than we are at the moment. And finally there's a session, Willie, on in terms of managing the dairy business during a period of low milk price. And we have three speakers on that. Will say that Matt Ryan, the well-known top quality farm advisor, will say that we'll talk about it. Donald Anderson will talk about it. The New Zealand experience. They're into their second year, Willie, of fairly heftily losing money, and I'll talk about it as well. How do you manage the ups to better manage the downs?
Yeah.
That's and in between, we'll say that the night in between on the Wednesday, there's a conference dinner, we'll say that which is probably the best networking opportunity in Irish dairying for the whole year. There'll be about 200 farmers at it, and if anybody wants to make contact with really, really good farmers, we'll say that this is a great chance.
Yeah. Now, Michael, I suppose the past year, well, the present year, I suppose, really, just past it, has been an extremely difficult year in farming. Now, falling on, I suppose, a number of really good years, very good years, I suppose.
Yeah.
Really tops, and we seem to be now into the trough at present, whether it's the bottom or not, I don't know, but I suppose there seem to be positive signals out there, and I suppose the Dutchman, Pete Moore, will be talking about that. But what is your outlook at present? What do you think is what's happening out there? You're farming in Ireland, you're farming in New Zealand, and you're farming in USA. What is the situation in the world at present?
Well, it's that New Zealand is much worse than they've been through a much harder time than we have, Willie. They're in the second year of fairly heavily losing money. In euro terms, they're probably likely to lose about 200 a cow this year, and equally last year. So, and if the milk price doesn't turn up, we'll say that from next July they might be facing into a third year of down prices. So they've had they have been hit harder than virtually anybody else. In the continent, we'll say that generally people are losing money. In the States, we'll say that they've been insulated. We'll say that the beef prices have been extraordinarily high, due to the drought in the main beef states, we'll say, which is now broken. So they're coming off that. Plus, also, we'll say that the milk price has been probably about 20 to 25% higher in the States than we'll say in Europe. Europe, by the way, has been higher again than in New Zealand, so the States has done better. But we said that it looks as if for the first time in 2016 they'll start to feel the pain a bit as well.
Can I ask you, have the New Zealanders got, I suppose, the European disease? A lot of the New Zealanders, that we were trying to go the European way, but rather than that, have they gone the Irish way and the European way? Well, a lot of them.
Well, you probably know, Willie, I've been a long-term admirer of many of the top New Zealand dairy farmers.
Yes.
And I'm just back about 2 weeks, from leading a study tour to New Zealand of 31 farmers, from this part of the world. And the answer is yes and no, by the way. Yes, we'll say that there's probably about 60% of the industry has at least partly got contaminated with the European experience, chasing production rather than profit. But at the top level, Willie, their very best farmers, they haven't at all been affected by this. So the top farmers I'm talking about, the top 10%, they haven't made losses. They've been profitable right through this down period, we'll say. And in practice, they would actually say volatility is the friend of the efficient.
Yeah. But their level of borrowing out there is enormous compared to us here.
It's about 8,000. Let's get this right now. It's about $23 per kg of milk solids, multiplied by 350. What would that be? Yeah.
1,500, is it?
About $8,000 per cow.
Yeah.
Taken on average, so that would translate to something like a pretty close to 4,500 to 5,000 euros per cow average. But if you consider that about a third of them are hardly borrowed at all, when you get into the top third of them, like they're probably borrowing 10 or 12,000 euros an acre. But it's probably something, Willie, just of general interest. The average cow in Denmark is borrowed about 19,000 euros per cow, and the average cow in the Netherlands is borrowed about 9,000 euros per cow. So if you look at some of the, we call it the main competition in terms of exporting nations, their farmers are saddled with very, very high debts per cow. Whereas in Ireland, I mean, that we'd be a lot closer now to, don't know the exact figure, but it's pretty close to about 1,000 euros or less per cow. So we have a huge advantage in that area, as well as in as well as we'll say that our farmers are really focused on making maximum use of grass. We've a strong cost advantage in that. So they are two of the advantages that we should avoid, or sorry, we should protect, because if you like the toxic mix, Willie, we'll say on farmers, high cost, which is sort of where people are shooting for high production per cow and moving away from grass. But if you mix high cost with high debt, that's a toxic mix.
Yes. Now, of course, everybody is worried now about, we had this big conference there before Christmas, and now just before a couple of weeks ago there, you were talking there, I remember there, about below in Clonakilty, about the nitrates, and everybody's talking about this carbon thing, and this carbon debt and carbon sinks and carbon debt, and people really don't know what's happening, and there's people in the world talking about we shouldn't be eating meat and all this type of thing, and if you eat a lot of these people that were pronouncing after what Enda Kenny said, they were talking about this and talking about that, but I said most of them are vegetarians anyway, to be honest with you. There seems to be an agenda out there, and they don't realise, I suppose, the farmer might be bad, but the country is in a fairly ropey state as well, and we have production. We have natural advantages, as I said to you earlier. We have natural advantages to produce grass. We have natural advantages to produce milk. We have all these type of things. Are we to throw the whole thing away now? A lot of people would say we should. And plant the whole bloody thing.
Well, Willie, you were dwelling on some possible bad news there. Could I hit you with one slightly off what you asked me? Very good news was there, which people, I spent about 2 months in the States. I started working this year between 3 different trips. And one of the things that hasn't hit Ireland yet, but it's hit the States, and the States medically, is the leading country in the world. Butter is good for your health, and that has been said repeatedly now by doctors. It was on the cover of Time magazine. So just before I get to the carbon question, we'll say that you can expect increased butter sales in the future, because the myth about butter being bad for your heart and cholesterol and all that is exactly what it is. It's a myth. It was said that the move to margarine and all the rest was the biggest mistake ever made. Butter is good for you, and Irish butter is the cream. So going back now for a sec, Willie, to I would applaud the Irish government in the sense that they basically, their position is that if Ireland has a very low carbon footprint, if extra food needs to be produced in the world, where they think will say there'll be 2 billion people more by in 35 years, by 2050, it makes sense to produce more food in low carbon areas than it does to produce it in areas where it will take a lot more carbon. So I strongly applaud the Irish government's position in terms of what they're trying to do, and I hope they're successful. And probably one of the messages will say that Willie, just even look at the whole environmental thing. One of the very strong and encouraging messages coming out from Moore Park is that what makes economic sense, that's growing a lot of grass and utilising a lot of grass, actually makes great environmental sense. One of the things you didn't mention there, but which is probably going to come down the road a bit in terms of even further nitrate regulation, the more of your grass that you utilise that doesn't actually rot away on the ground, the less nitrogen leaches down in the soil. So, having good grassland management, using a lot of your grass, it actually puts money in your pocket, but it also, as a custodian of the environment, you're actually doing the right thing as well. So it's not all bad news, Willie.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing what you said about the Brussels. How do they get these things so wrong, all these experts we call them? I don't know. But
do you know why, Willie? Because we'll say Unilever, way back in the 40s and the 50s, they commissioned, they invented margarine. They commissioned a lot of research and they cooked the research. And a lot of the views have been based on that. So they've been based on pseudoscience and, because of suppressed innocence and pseudo. And thankfully, at long last, all that kind of baloney has been set aside. And, you can now go back to enjoying good Irish butter, we'll say that. All I can say is when I spend 2 months in the States and I'm eating their kind of,
grease.
Their kind of butter, we'll say, I call it white scour, from the cows that are kept inside. Anytime we can find, a Kerrygold butter, we'll say, in any of the supermarkets locally, it's a big day.
I don't know what's going to happen here. Well, now, Michael, I think I've lost you.
No, I still have you, Willie.
Yeah, it's okay, yeah. Michael, I'm going to let you go. We had a great chat in there, but Michael, the dates anyway, give me your dates, and what days of the week are there?
It's Wednesday and Thursday, Willie, of
the 13th to 14th of January.
Yeah, and
the cows won't be calved yet.
No, the cows won't be calved. And for anybody, Willie, who wants a clear direction as to, in terms of how to survive and prosper if you like, in stormy seas, which is where the milk price is bringing us at the moment, there will be very, very clear guidance of how to, and particularly I'd say for young people, come along, we'll say, because we're sometimes accused of not being the chiefs of the conference. We're not the chiefs of the conferences, but we are the best. And in terms of value, Willie, anybody who's ever gone to the Positive Farmers who's never had a complaint.
Yeah, okay. I thank you very much, Michael. So that's Michael Murphy, and he's inviting you on to the Positive Dairy Farmers Conference, and it is on the 13th and 14th of January in Relison Blue, which is a couple of miles. A mile, I think you said, Michael, from the Dunkettle Tunnel, isn't it?
Exactly.
On the road to Middleton, it was really.
On the road to Middleton, just go about a mile towards Middleton, and it's signpost on the left, and it's in the Little Island Industrial Estate.
Okay. Michael, thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
And please, God, we'll see you there.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Michael. Thank you. All the best.
GBM Kilmallock Mart every